We're starting with Virginia Main Street because Main Street is not only a program of the Department of Housing and Community Development, as well as the National Main Street Center, but it's also an approach to community revitalization that any community, regardless of their affiliation with Virginia Main Street or National Main Street, can utilize in their community. We do have 4 tiers of program participation around the state, and you can see our map here of our advancing Main Street communities. Advancing Main Street communities are those who have competed in a competitive process that we go through every 2 to 4 years, depending on our resources. These communities have to meet national accreditation standards every year. And in 2020, I believe it was, that already seems so long ago, we did designate 4 new AVMS communities, and those are the ones that you see in orange on your screen. And so we are really excited that Tazewell, Tappahannock, Anancock, and Cape Charles are a part of the program. We also have a tier called Mobilizing Main Street for communities who really want to use these resources to accelerate and kickstart their efforts, as well as Exploring Main Street, which is a tier for communities who attend our trainings and utilize a Main Street approach in their community. And there is a grant program that accompanies that level of participation. Introducing Main Street is a tier that's open to anyone who wants to be a part of our network. And if your community is here on this call, you're probably in the Introducing Main Street tier without even knowing it. It really just means we have your contact information. So the overview of Main Street, again, Virginia Main Street is a Main Street America coordinating program that is committed to creating high quality places and building stronger communities through preservation-based economic development. We offer a range of services and assistance to communities interested in revitalizing their historic commercial districts while utilizing that Main Street approach that we'll hear more about in a bit. And while the program is designed to address the needs for revitalization and ongoing management of smaller to mid-sized downtowns, again, aspects of the Main Street approach can be applied successfully to other commercial settings, whether that is a large central business district in an urban area or a smaller neighborhood commercial district. And with some recent additions in resources to our program, we are really hoping to be able to expand Virginia Main Street more broadly across the state, including coming to some of those areas that are over our current threshold in population of 75,000. So stay tuned for more information there. Again, we do have some grant opportunities. The Community Vitality Grant is designed to aid Exploring Main Street and Mobilizing Main Street organizations and communities in achieving their downtown revitalization goals. And if you're not sure if your community is in one of those levels, be in touch with staff and we can certainly help you find out how to participate. The Downtown Investment Grant is very similar to the Community Vitality Grant, but that is only available to those designated advancing accredited Main Street communities. And we also have a Financial Feasibility Grant that is first made available to the advancing Main Street communities. And if we don't allocate all of those resources, then we make that available to our broader network as well. The Downtown Investment Grant and Community Vitality Grants are built to be very, very flexible. Tell us what your community revitalization needs are, how you would utilize this money essentially, and that is your application. So you can see the timeline there and stay tuned. We will be announcing the how to apply workshops for these grant opportunities very soon. Some tips for getting started with Main Street. Look at your downtown as if you are a first-time visitor. What is positive or what needs improvement? Invite a Main Street volunteer or manager from another community to talk with a group of your community leaders about what that community and organization has accomplished and how the program works. You're going to hear from a number of successful Main Street programs today. Definitely get their contact information. These folks really know a lot about revitalization and how to work these programs. recruit board members and take them to other downtowns to meet with peers, hear about what works, and see how your downtown compares. So those are just a couple of things you can maybe schedule for yourself later today in getting a Main Street effort started in your community. Now we're going to turn it over to Todd Wolford with Downtown Wytheville. And Todd is the Executive Director for Downtown Wytheville, Inc., a 501c3 nonprofit in Southwest Virginia. And under his leadership, Downtown Wytheville has earned the designation with Virginia Main Street as well as national accreditation. Todd, I can't see you, but I hear that you are unmuted, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction and not going on too far with that. Again, thanks for asking me to be a part of the program today. I'm a little bit under the weather, so if my voice starts to crackle or I need to grab a drink, just excuse me. Just going to get started. I'm glad you went ahead and explained all that Virginia Main Street stuff, because I was concerned that I might have to do that, but I'll just go right into the kind of the Main Street approach and kind of how we started. So again, I'm Todd with Downtown Wytheville, and I've been doing this job about 6 years now. And when we started, we essentially had nothing. We had a blighted Main Street that needed work, and we were kind of thrust right into a streetscape project. So we were a little bit in survival mode from the get-go, but we did function with the Main Street approach and the 4 categories that you see on the screen there. That's how we kind of got started with organizing people and really getting an executive team together to become designated and accredited through Main Street America. But you can go ahead and change the slide there, Rebecca. So through that 4-point approach, we felt that was great in the beginning to get organized and to get folks understanding what Main Street was. But we really needed to create a volunteer pool that we could pull from. We could get dedicated volunteers. And so we have more of a subcommittee approach. And through that, we were able to recruit many more volunteers to serve on special projects without the full commitment of the traditional standing committee structure, which you saw in the previous slide. Another reason is this enables us to have a much larger volunteer pool to pull from for large scale events and really solicit quality volunteers for important roles. And I think the most important reason that we do the subcommittee approach is this allows us to engage and recruit many more volunteers and really screen them to understand the motivation to serve. You know, we've all had board members and volunteers that go on and on and on and on, and things get stagnant. But with this subcommittee approach, it really allows us to pull from a huge pool of volunteers, screen those volunteers with a low commitment level. Maybe it's a special project or an event. And we've actually encouraged, and we get board members from this approach as well, because it allows us to work with them in a capacity and see them work with other people and see how they work with staff. And if they're great, we ask them to come back. And if they're not so great, it was really a one-time commitment. So that's kind of why we do that approach. But it is a transformational strategy for us across the 4 points. So that's what works for us. You can go ahead. And some of our keys to success is really effective stakeholder engagement. What we do is we need to understand, what do the businesses want? What do the property owners want? So we can have a better understanding of what we need to program for and what we need to do. I think in the beginning with Main Street, we did a lot of things on our own because we thought it was great. We thought it was impactful, and it was in the beginning. But now we really have to focus on, what do the stakeholders want? Because everybody wants to do events and special projects, but if the businesses are not open and not supporting, then you're essentially wasting your time to a certain extent. But so we really focus on engaging the stakeholder through each event, special project that we do, and then we reassess and we follow up. Kind of that little graphic that you see there, that's exactly what we do. And we want their engagement. We want the participation, and we've had actually business and property owners kind of stepping up and being a bigger part of the big events that we do. And it's overall good for the community. And some ways that tactics that we include, we have closed Facebook for downtown stakeholders, direct email communication, and face-to-face is really what we want to do. If we know we have an issue with anything going on, I'm going face-to-face because, that's just the best way to do it. And I realized through the COVID situation that that's been a little kind of put on the back burner, but not necessarily for us. We want to go face-to-face, and we want to create the solutions for our community. So you can go ahead. So another one of our keys to success, and it's a huge deal for us, is our public-private partnerships. And that paragraph there is very important for us because we have positioned our organization to be a liaison between local government and the private business sector. We organize, coordinate, implement activities and special projects that bring both volunteers, business owners, and paid staff together through our organization's subcommittees, which I mentioned. We work hand in hand with town council, local elected officials, and administrative staff to support all departments to see our visions through the community. It's truly an all-in approach here with our community. We bring everybody to the table through our organization to obtain these goals and objectives for our community. So we've kind of made ourselves a little bit indispensable. And I think as a Main Street organization, that's somewhat what you got to do, because you always have to justify your existence. And we feel that we've done a good job of that, and we continue to do that. So some of those graphics there are some of the big partnerships that we have. Through our organization, we have two local breweries, and obviously, they're competitive, but through our organization, we're able to market, promote, and collectively do things in conjunction with each other. And it's been very, very rewarding for both of them. And we've had a huge success. It's really changed our nightlife here. And both of those breweries were gained through the CBL program, which I think will be spoken of later on in this program. But we just want to work with everybody through our organization. We want to bring people together to reach, goals and things for our community. Okay, you can switch it. I think another one of our keys to success really is our having brand recognition. Who is Downtown Wytheville? When we first started, everybody was like, who is this organization? What are they doing? Are they the town of Wytheville? Are they local government? Who are they? So Downtown Wytheville to me, it's an economic driver for the region. That's the way I look at it. I mean, we are a Main Street organization, but we are an economic impact driver for our region. And we want everybody to know that. Education is key. We want to educate our board members. We want to educate our community and our local officials what we do and who we are, because they need to know that. And through our brand, we do that on marketing materials, and everything is conveyed through our brand now. So when people see that logo, they associate what we do with positivity, success, community change makers, and things like that. So it's taken a while to get there, but that's who we've always wanted to be. And brand recognition is key, and it doesn't happen overnight. But you have to convey it through everything that you do. So creating your own messaging, and don't let others do that for you. We all know that social media can be positive, but can also be negative. And like I said in the beginning, when we were in the middle of a construction project that tore up our entire downtown, we were catching it. So we had to educate, we had to create our message, and the town really relied on us to do that through our social media. And, in the beginning, we didn't have it. Now we have 9,000 followers with, 8,000 residents. So we feel like we're doing a really good job, and our social media is actually the strongest in Wythe County. So we feel good about that. You can go ahead and change the slide. And through all that I've mentioned already, you have to engage the community to support everything that you're trying to implement. So again, social media is key, and creating your own message, because you have to portray everything that you're trying to do. So you engage the stakeholders, brand recognition, and now we're going to engage the community, support everything we're trying to do as a Main Street organization. So you also have to be open to criticism, new ways of thinking. You can't be stagnant in your approach. So we always open things up for people to comment. Doug Jackson gave me a shout out, so I'm going to give him one. He actually came to our community, and we did some stakeholder engagement when we were building a 3-year strategic plan. And we invited people to the table. We want to hear, what do you want to happen in your community? And we're going to take that build a plan, and we're going to make that happen. Because a lot of times what happens is people come to you with all these ideas about you should do this, you should do that. So when we have this strategic plan in place, this is what we're doing, and this is, how it's going to happen for the next 1 or 2 years. We will take your feedback, and we'll look at that later on down the line. That way you don't have to get into saying, well, we're not doing that, or he said, she said kind of stuff, because people get offended really easy. I think everybody on the call knows that. But, the only way you avoid criticism is to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. So we feel, we want everybody's input on what we're doing. And through social media is really, really how we engage people. We create our own message and keep it positive. So you can change the slide. Now, this is a very important part of our structure and how we maintain success. We have engaged our local government to fund our organization to a certain extent. We don't have to have fundraising constantly held over our head to sustain our organization. So that's a very stressful thing. And for those communities that are on the call that don't have this partnership, you need to solicit this partnership. You need to have a seat at the table with your local government, whether it's council work sessions, council meetings. You need to be there. They need to hear from you. And the unique position that we have is we always have a seat at the table. We're working on new ideas, working on various things for our community, and we're getting our council on board with things like that. And then through the community engagement, it all works hand in hand with us. But we do so many things that the local government can't do. And I'm not going to read all through all those there for the sake of time, but there's so many things that the Main Street Community Development Organization can do that local government just can't. So they fund us to a level. They trust that we're going to make positive impact in our community, and the work has shown itself. So we feel good about our partnership, but that is probably the most critical piece for us, is to work with our local elected officials, town administrative staff, and it's been very successful here in Wytheville. Go ahead. Another big part of what we do is, in my previous position, I worked with youth in the community. And when I decided to relocate back to Wytheville, that was a big part of what I wanted to do, is, try to engage the youth, because I was once one of those people that never wanted to be in Wytheville, but I had the opportunity to come back and, engage them through my previous position. And now we're engaging them through community development. We want to know, excuse me, we want their input on what we do here in the community. For example, to the left there, we did a scholarship program, which was basically a spinoff of Community Business Launch, but we did it for youth. And we have a youth board member. They're a voting board member, and we want their input. And we work with the school system through partnerships. We have a technology center that can develop signage. They did some medals for us there for a 5K, and we want to give the youth an opportunity to serve and create things for us before we go elsewhere. So we're really focused on the youth here in our community. So you can go ahead. So this is my last slide, and I'm actually losing my voice. So this is what Main Street can do for your community. These are our statistics from 16 to 20, and we're working on 2021 right now. But you can see those numbers. I mean, we just feel really good about what we've done in a 6-year time frame. And I would put these numbers against anybody in the nation, really. I talk to a lot of people across the nation, and they're excited with what Wytheville's doing. And we are too. Sometimes the people that live here and see it all the time, they don't understand the impact. So we have to continue to educate and engage them so they do. So the education piece is critical, but we feel good about what we've done. So again, thank you for having me. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and look forward to hearing from you guys, and I'll answer any questions in the chat.
Todd, thank you so much. I honestly learned some things about the program there in Wytheville that I didn't know, especially around all of the activities you're doing engaging with the youth, which I think is so important for communities to keep the youth engaged, and whether they leave and come back or they choose to stay, that's such an important resource in Virginia. And your investment statistics are always amazing. I will tell you all that in Main Street, we have a saying, R&D, which is rip off and duplicate. So I know that Todd would be thrilled for you to take any of these activities and ideas and make them your own.